Mr. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Broncos. Call the dogs off, send help. Please help these folks. That, in case y'all ain't know, that was the Shannon Sharp line he used one time when he was with the Broncos back in the 90s against the Patriots. Just take out the word Broncos and put Patriots in there. If y'all don't remember, look it up on YouTube. One of the most hilarious moments in my um, Shannon Sharp's a funny guy. Like in his playing career, that
Hmm.
was probably the most hilarious moment besides when he locked Tony Siragusa and them guys in the Ravens locker room. But hello, good people. Welcome to the week 3 uh, recap episode of the B&E podcast presented by Premium. Ed, what's going on, man? We in the same boat this evening.
Man, yep, we sure are. Some miserable fan bases out there, some happy fan bases. I hope the people who are watching, I hope you're in the happy fan base group. I'm definitely in the miserable fan base group today, Brandon. I know you are too, but we're gonna get to it for
For
sure.
sure.
All right, let's get this open drive going. The Steelers plane made an emergency landing in Kansas City on the way home after the Sunday night win because of oil pressure failure in one of the engines. Patrick Mahomes has become the fastest player ever to reach 25,000 career passing yards. Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams will be out for the year after suffering the ACL tear. And Chargers cornerback J.C. Jackson has a warrant out for his arrest for failing to pay a $600 fine to attend a reckless driving class. Jackson was a healthy scratch on Sunday against the Vikings, and they just gave him a big contract too. So I wonder
Exactly.
how that's going to end up with him. They gave him like 5 years, 82 million. But we'll see how that works out for him.
That was my main thinking point on that whole J.C. Jackson situation. That big contract he signed coming over from New England, and you telling me you can't pay a $600 fine. I hope it's a backstory to it. Uh, uh, Hopefully he know about it or something. Cause come on now, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, good luck to him. It's been a rocky
Definitely.
year for him so far. Even before last week, he has been playing his best. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how it works out for him.
Yep. All right, Ed. My Ravens, we fell to 2-1 after Matt Guy damn near beat us by himself. Just give us your thoughts. I'm not even going to go into this, so I'll let you go into it first.
It's funny because I remember we were talking Friday. You were like, "Man, I wish Richardson was playing. They got Gardner Minshew. We do better against rookie quarterbacks." And I was like, "So you think the Colts gonna win?" And you were like, "Nah, I don't think so." I was like, "Yeah, well, I guess you were kind of on to something." And I guess the Colts did win. I didn't see a lot of this game. I was watching Red Zone. I did see some plays. I saw a bonehead play. I do want to say this. It did look like the refs swallowed their whistles or didn't call it. I want to get your opinion on how you thought about this overtime. I think it was the fourth down play, Zay Flowers. Um, Lamar Jackson tried to connect with him, but it looked like the defender got there a little early. Everybody was looking for a flag. The commentators, announcers, they were like, that looks like a flag. I think they even asked Gene Signature about it. He was like, yeah, that should have been a
Yeah.
flag, but no flag was called. I just want to know what you were thinking as that play unfolded. And I'm guessing you thought that was a clear pass interference on the defense, too.
Yeah, definitely. No bias here. It definitely looked like it. And it's the same thing with the end of y'all's game. Was it week 2 against the Broncos? I mean, that was a
Mm-hmm.
missed call on that. Um, but honestly, like I was telling my neighbor, because we was working on my sister's car, so I was back and forth in the early part of the game. It was like it shouldn't have got to that point. You know what I'm saying? We had ample opportunity to win this game several times to put them away, and we just did not. My note started off with a question for John Harbaugh. What the hell were you thinking? Right there
I
on
saw
that
you
play.
tweet
I mean,
something out. Yeah, I
yeah, he
saw you
had a
tweet that
chance to
out.
win it. Yeah, from 62 yards. He likes to go for it on fourth down. You know, you run Zay Flowers across the middle. Whatever happened, he got pulled. Whether or not you think it's PI, depending on what fan base you're with, it is what it is. But honestly, yes, um, Tucker missed from 61 at the end of regulation. It
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit of misty out there and windy. The entire East Coast was dealing with the weather conditions. I know we was talking about it. You mentioned it via text during the games, but you got damn near the best kicker of all time. You definitely had the best kicker in the league. I could argue anybody with that for sure. And you elect to not let him kick because I guess because, and I still haven't seen his presser to see the reason behind it. I would assume because he missed a 61 yarder and you go for it on fourth down, you don't get it. So the ball is turned over at the exact same spot, damn near where it would have been turned over if he had missed it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they went straight downfield and scored. But heading to the rest of the game, it was iffy from the first touchdown. I say it all the time. We don't stop the run. We don't play good. And they had
Zach
over 100
Moss is
yards
getting
rushing on us.
off. I was surprised by that.
Yes.
Zach Moss is getting off.
Yeah. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? But yeah, I absolutely hate it when we give up a 100-yard rusher. I can deal with the giving up 100 yards combined to like two guys.
Mhm.
Let's say 53 yards by the quarterback or rushing quarterback. Let's say Richardson was playing, he ended up 53 on the yard on the ground and another 60, 70 yards to Zach Moss, and you have more than 100 yards combined. You're talking about one guy downhill, just keep beating us like that. It's just it drives me insane. But speaking of the defense, Mike McDonald, our defensive coordinator from your school,
Uh,
Michigan. He found this mismatch with Kyle Hamilton on the safety blitzes. Not one of my favorite plays, and it's one thing that he did it last year, but Wink Martindale did it notoriously his last couple years, uh, sending the safety blitzes on games when we're not full strength at corner, and we haven't been full strength all year, and we probably won't be for a while because we don't know exactly when Humphrey's going to be back.
mhm.
First half, it ended up resulted in 3 sacks by Kyle Hamilton. Looks all good now. But of course, teams go into halftime and they make adjustments. And the Colts made adjustments and they still was sending Kyle Hamilton on them blitzes and he got picked up in the second half. So a couple of those plays in the second half ended up being big chunk plays for the Colts. And it to me, it should have stopped at halftime. You did it one time out of halftime, you saw it wasn't going right. Don't do it again. I don't know how many more times he did it, but it was at least a couple times. But this game is going to come back to haunt us. I mentioned it several times last year, and especially during the off season, that um we cannot lose games against other AFC teams, whether they're the worst team in the AFC or one of the best teams in the AFC, because those games come back and they matter when it comes to end of the season and postseason seeding.
Yeah.
Last year we ended up with the 6th seed as opposed to the 5th seed because the Chargers had a better AFC record than we did. We lost way too many games against the AFC. We're starting not starting off on a good foot here, losing against the Colts. LJ, protect the damn ball. His stats are starting to look like Daniel Jones when it comes to his fumbling before Brian Daboll got to New York. So yeah, he's got to get it together. And I think one of the plays, the offensive line just absolutely killed him on it. But either way, you're getting paid all this money. We expect you to protect the ball. That's all I really got to say. Get it together, like for real. I mean, I can't. I hate losing. I'm like just like damn near any other fan, but it drives me crazy, especially when it's a situation like that when we had multiple opportunities to win this one and we
Yeah.
just let it slip through our hands. It shouldn't even gone to overtime. Honestly, it shouldn't have came down to that last kick with uh Justin Tucker. Whether he missed it or not, it's just yeah, that's my
Trust
fault.
me, it could be worse. It could be way
Yeah,
worse. Trust me.
I know.
I do want to mention you talked about you guys not being banged up because I remember you texting me, man. We got 7 starters who are out. It looks
Yep.
like Gus Edwards, he had a concussion. He didn't finish the game, if I got the right running back. So y'all
Yeah, it
guys
was.
are really beat up. So we need to get y'all healthy. And I don't know what Lamar needs to do. He get some stick him and put him on his hands. It seems like I feel like it's been each week so far he's coughed with the ball. He might have recovered it,
Yep.
but it seems like each
Yeah.
week in the pocket, somebody hits him or he's trying to make a play and the ball pops out. So yeah, definitely Lamar, you gotta shore that up and get better with that. But let's stick with the AFC. We're gonna go to the AFC East. Patriots beat the Jets 15-10. I think it's clear to see that the wheels are starting to fall off for the Jets. You got players already screaming and yelling at the coaches. Michael Carter is yelling at his running back coach. I think they said Garrett Wilson was screaming at Zach Wilson. I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. Saleh said after the game that Zach Wilson gives us the best chance to win, but I think he's just being
Yeah.
diplomatic. He didn't want to
Yep.
throw his guy under the bus. I don't know if they're going to make a trade, but they're going to have to do something because this season is getting ugly for them fast. Mike Greenberg, even after I remember the guy from Get Up on ESPN. I remember after the first game, right as Aaron Rodgers went down, he was so depressed, like he was in a clinical depression, and he tweeted out the other day like Zach Wilson cannot be the quarterback of the future. They got to trade for somebody. And honestly, they got to do that because there was some bonehead plays he made. I remember one time he was in the pocket, there was pressure all around him, and he just fell on the ground. Nobody hit him, but he just fell on the ground. I just like it's looking like he's shell shocked out there. He looking like Sam Darnold when he was like, I see ghosts out there. That's exactly what they were saying. But they did have a chance to win the game at the end. Randall Cobb almost caught the Hail Mary. The ball just fell out of his hands, and that would have been one hell of a way to go out. I would have been dying laughing. That would have made my day a little better just because of how much I hate the Patriots. But Patriots, they finally get in the win column. That defense is looking good. The offense is still, questions marks. I got questions about your boy mac and cheese, as you call him, Kraft mac and cheese. You guys meet. But I don't know. I think the Patriots, I think they'll still be around. That defense, Bill Belichick, I think he's got something in this cornerback, Christian Gonzalez. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some rookie the way he's starting to play. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this game? Patriots and Jets, how do you see it?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Sam Darnold seeing ghosts, and that was against the Patriots.
Yep.
So it's kind of ironic. You know, my mom used to always say, when it rains, it pours, and that's exactly what the Jets are feeling like right now. Everybody knows the recipe of success to win right now with them is running the ball and playing good defense. And on Sunday, they struggled on all three phases of the game. It just was not clicking at all. They gave up 157 yards on the ground. 80 of those were to a guy named Zeke, who a lot of Cowboys fans thought his career was over and he couldn't even run like that besides in the goal line. Yeah, that's definitely an issue right there for New York. I'm not even going to touch on Zach Wilson besides the church folks used to say, I'll pray for you and you pray for me. So somebody need to pray for that man, because
you need a Hail Mary.
It's like it's bad. It's bad out there. But yeah, like you said, much needed win for New England. Mac Jones, he actually looked like he might have known what the hell he was doing out there compared to his first two games. Matthew Judon in that defense, he continued to show why he was awarded that big contract coming over from the Ravens. 2 sacks on Sunday. Of course, it was an easy target against Zach Wilson. But yeah, good win for the Patriots. I know they were talking about heading into this game, if New England fell to 0-3, would it basically be time for Bill Belichick to retire into this season? And so he kind of silenced those a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's 15 straight wins in a row for the Patriots over the Jets. And again, it's ironic that they scored 15 points on Sunday. So
15 straight. We might have been in high school the last time the Jets beat the Patriots.
Exactly.
Win something 15 straight. Yeah, that's bad. But I'm sure the Commanders got somebody like that. I don't talk about that, but yeah, I'll talk about it later, y'all.
Got you. All right, everyone. This game was a tale of 3 quarters versus the final period. Green Bay stormed back from 18 down in the 4th quarter to win their home opener 18-17. Sorry, they was down. Yeah, they scored 18 to win 18-17. After this game, Jordan Love, he came out and said it's all about how the game ends, and he was absolutely right. Willing his team to victory there in the 4th quarter. Derek Carr went down for shoulder injury, and his team was up 17-0. Then comes Jameis Winston, not exactly my favorite backup quarterback in the league, but he played good though. I was looking at his stat line.
Yeah, he ain't played bad.
Yeah, he ain't played bad, but simple task for him and the Saints though is kind of like ball control, run out the clock, and it just it didn't go as planned. Green Bay scored all their points in the final 11 minutes, including the pass to Romeo Doubs there for that 2-point conversion. It kind of looked like an Aaron Rodgers throw. He was like running off, looked like he was going to scramble in for the conversion, and he just tossed it cross shoulder there to Romeo Doubs for great catch, and that got them to 18-11 at that point. Again, I think they scored again, obviously another touchdown later in the game. But excuse me, I think New Orleans will be just fine though. I think this was just a little bit of hiccup for them. I think the air kind of got taken out of their team when Derek Carr went down.
Hmm.
And Green Bay just kind of took advantage of it from a mental standpoint at that point. Green Bay, though, they continue to miss Aaron Jones, though. Hopefully he gets back soon because the run game still it improved slightly on Sunday, but it's still not as good as it was in week one when he had both those guys out there. But shout out to the Packers, though. They've won 11 straight home openers, and that's the longest in the NFL. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think they said this is the largest comeback in their team history, if I'm not mistaken. So
Oh, wow.
shout out to Jordan Love. He keeps playing well, and they keep winning. Jamal Williams for the Saints, he was I think they got him on IR right now with a hamstring injury, and they did miss that field goal at the end of the game. So I mean, they were in the game. We'll see what happens with Carr. I think they were guessing it was like an AC joint or AC sprain or something in the shoulder, so that could leave him out a while. I think Jameis Wilson can get them some wins. Honestly, I know he can have some turnover issues, but it's always some fluke, something happening here with his turnovers. Like he'll throw the ball to somebody to bounce off somebody's hands and fly into the defender's hand. Then will just throw an interception right to the guy. So we'll see what happens with the Saints. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Saints will be all right in the long run. They still always have a good, steady team. Packers, they play the Lions next week, I believe, and that's going to be a good matchup. Both
Yeah.
of those teams are 2-1 now. This is a good win for the Packers. I don't know if Aaron Jones will be back, as you said, but they will need him. I want to see Jordan Love. I want to say like a shootout, but I want to see him in a situation where he's got to throw the ball more. But I am
Yeah.
starting to like what I'm seeing. He is showing me something. He's mobile. He can run, and he can make the pass when he needs to. He had a couple of good throws last night, as you mentioned. So yeah, it was a good team win for the Packers, man. These close games like this can really put the team together and bond even more. So we'll see if the Packers, because you had them winning the NFC North, right?
Correct.
You need to predict the Packers, yeah. So I had the Vikings, and that's definitely not looking like they 0-3. I think we're going to talk about them next, but yeah, definitely is not looking like the damn Vikings are going to be anywhere close to winning the NFC North the way things are going. But who knows? Who knows how the season will shake out?
Sure. All right, everyone. This episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. They're perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures in mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned, so come get some of the sweet temptation and taste a premium difference. Use code BNE for 15% off your order. Their website is www.premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, PREHEMIUM.com. And now back to our show. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a good one. Chargers at Vikings. Ed and I both said something had to give in this game, and the Chargers came out on top. Ed, Brandon Staley may have cooled his seat down after this one, you think?
Uh, just a smidge, because he almost blew it
Yep.
at the end of the
Yeah.
game. A lot of the talk shows, I was driving into work
Correct.
this morning, a lot of the shows are talking about what the hell is Brandon Staley doing. He would have been fired. He should have been fired in the all season after that playoff debacle where they blew the lead against the Jaguars. So I don't know. I don't know if his season. I think it's just still the same. Honestly, he might have put an ice
Yeah.
cube under it, but that shit melted
Yep.
just like that, in my opinion. But yeah, to this game though, it's back and forth affair. Justin Jefferson had a good game. Kirk Cousins is slinging a rock to him. Alexander Madison, he had 94 yards rushing. I think it's kind of a bounce back game for him because he didn't play too well the first 2 weeks. He did have a fumble, but I think they overruled it, said he was already down on the ground. But I want to get over to the Chargers side of the ball. Like we talked about earlier, Mike Williams looks like he blew his knee out. I remember seeing that play. It just sucks. It planted his foot, and he was getting tackled from behind. And just also Derwin James, he went out late in the game too. I think he has a hamstring injury. It seems like every year the injury bug is affecting him. Hopefully, he can come out and be healthy again. But yeah, I'm sure the Chargers is glad they got a win on their record finally. Brandon Staley, I don't know, man. in your own territory on the 24-yard line, 4 for 1, you go for it, you don't get it, but the defense ends up saving the day thanks to an interception on the goal line at the end of the game. I don't know why he just didn't punt it. I guess he didn't trust his defense, or maybe he had a lot of faith in his offense with Justin Herbert out there. But yeah, it was a questionable decision. They got the win though. Vikings 0-3. I don't know if they're going to be in tank mode. I wonder what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins. Are they going to try to trade him? Are they going to try to do some of the Jets? I don't know. I'm interested to see how they're going to look going forward. But this definitely was a good back and forth game. I'm trying to see the game recap. The Chargers scored a touchdown every quarter, and then the Vikings, they scored 10 points in the second quarter, and then they scored 14 points in the second half. So, I mean, just a back and forth affair. Chargers didn't have Austin Eckler, but Joshua Kelly, actually, god damn, their running game was pretty atrocious.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Josh Kelly had 11 rushes for 12 yards. Justin Herbert, you could say, Joshua Kelly is a leading rusher, but Justin Herbert, he had 2 rushes for 11 yards, so he wasn't far behind him. But yeah, they definitely going to need Austin Eckler back if they want to have any chance of improving their record. Keenan Allen, he probably had the best game of his damn life. 18 receptions for 215 yards. But I know they're gonna miss Mike Williams. And I don't know if this is gonna keep going, but Donald Parham Jr., their tight end, I think he's like 6'8", 6'9". He caught 2 touchdowns as well. So I think he might be utilized more in the future, especially when they get in those red zone and goal line situations. But yeah, how did you think about this game? Damn, Justin Herbert threw 47 times. 40 or 47, 405 yards. Yeah. It
was a lot. But that run game was, like you said, absolutely atrocious. Wasn't going anywhere. And yeah, we mentioned in our preview show that both these teams struggled against the pass, and it definitely showed on Sunday. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, as you said, both topped 100 yards apiece. Hell, Keenan actually finished with 215 again. But then Kellen Moore, another guy Dallas fans wanted out of their organization, he dialed up that trick play for Keenan to threw a touchdown pass later in the game. Like you said, Keenan Allen just basically had a game of his life out there for sure. Then the other side of the field, Justin Jefferson, he continues to do Justin Jefferson things. Kind of feel sorry for him because it always tends to go back to the quarterback with them. Minnesota, like Los Angeles over the past few years, they just cannot close out games in 2023. They've won so many of these similar type games a year ago, but it's not working for them right now. But their main problem is the turnovers. They fumbled 7 times this year and lost each of them. Besides that one you said, Madison, that got overturned or whatever. Their -7 turnover ratio is the worst in the National Football League. And I saw something before we went on the air that the who's their coach? I can't think of the coach. O'Connell. But anyway, thank you. Kevin O'Connell said that he's going to start benching players for turnovers. I don't know how well that's going to go across with the team. I don't know if he's actually going to hold up to that or what, but apparently he came out and said that either after the game or today, speaking in reference to his team, because again, that the turnover rate is outrageous with them right now. It looks like the Vikings are in for a long season at this rate. Like you said,
speaking of hot seats, his is warming up.
Yeah,
his is warming up.
For sure. Both of these guys were pretty much in that same boat, and lucky enough for them, they both played each other. Well, luckily for Brandon Staley, they played an 0-3 team, so somebody had to win to get a tie, but ended up in his favor. So he's got a little bit more time to spare.
Yeah, he sure does. He got more time than Anthony Lynn ever got. He only got a damn year before they check him out.
Yep.
Only got a damn year. Mm-hmm. Let's go into the player awards. Bonehead Plays of the Years, Offensive Player of the Year awards. Player of the Week. Start with the Offensive Player of the Week. Who you got, Brandon?
Keenan Allen. 18 receptions for 215 yards. I thought he didn't score a touchdown at first, and then again, like I looked at his stats, just mentioned a minute ago, he threw that 49-yarder. So he was literally all over the place. Keenan Allen's my Offensive Player of the Week. What about you?
My Offensive Player of the Week, I got to give it to the rookie for the Dolphins, Devin Achane. 18 rushes, 203 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He looked pretty dynamic and fast as hell out there. I think we got to play him this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe
Actually,
we
yeah, the
do too.
AFC. We play the AFC East, so I think we are playing them. Not looking forward to that game the way we looked last week. We're gonna talk about that too. Defensive player of the week. Who you got?
I have my safety, Kyle Hamilton, and it was an losing effort, but 3 sacks for the second year safety, 9 total tackles, 7 solo, and a forced fumble as well. Again, unfortunately, ended in a losing fashion, but he came out and really um, showed some things. He really impressed us there, blitzing from the safety position in the first
Yeah.
half. What about yourself?
Honestly, I want to give it to the whole Bills defense, but if I had to single out one player, it would be Terrell Bernard, linebacker for the Bills. You said Matt Milano was going to be the key for them. It was one of the linebackers, Terrell Bernard.
Yeah.
2 sacks, 1 interception, just a hell of a game. I believe he recovered a fumble too, but you could give it to multiple people on this team, man. Just a awful day for the Commanders and a great day for the Bills. Special teams. Who's your special teams player of the week?
I can't deny the man his credit. Came in there in Justin Tucker's house and did his thing. Matt Gay,
Mm-hmm.
5 for 5 field goals, including the game winner in overtime from 53 yards. 4 of those, I believe, were from 50 yards or out. God only knows it could have been all 5 at this rate. Um, yeah, I mean, he pretty much was their offense there as far as the scoreboard goes. So Matt Gay is my special teamer of the week. You?
My player of the week for special team is the fullback for the Texans, Andrew Beck. He ran back a kickoff for 85 yards for
Yeah.
a touchdown. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna give a shout out to him and the Texans who surprised me beating the Jaguars. I'm
Hell
pretty
yeah.
sure a lot of other people were surprised about that too. We'll talk about that a little later when we talk about our other games. Bonehead play or player of the week. Who you got?
Got the bonehead play and call. John Harbaugh. I mentioned him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right around 5 minutes left in overtime, give or take. Tucker missed that 61 yarder into regulation, as I mentioned. Defense was playing decent, so why not risk it?
Yeah.
He likes to go for it on 4th and 3. We didn't get the PI call on Zay Flowers, turnover on downs. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it was the same exact spot where it would have been if he missed the kick. The only thing that possibly could have hurt us in that situation is a block kick, like a pick six. But at that damn rate, we pretty much was on the verge of losing it any damn way. Um, just pathetic in my eyes. You have one of the best kickers of all time, the best kicker in the league. I say go for it with him. Close the game out. Improve to 2-0 at our own home stadium and 3-0 in the year. And now we're 2-1. Yourself?
I'm gonna stick with the same game, but I'm gonna give it to Gardner Minshew, who stepped out of the back of the end zone to get a safety. Everybody called it Dan Orlovsky
Yep.
throwback. So yeah, Gardner Minshew. I thought y'all were gonna win the game at that point, so I was really
Same.
shocked about that. But yeah, Gardner Minshew got my bonehead play of the week. Now let's get into these other scores from around the league. 49ers beat the Giants on Thursday Night Football last week, 30-12. Lions beat the Lions beat the Falcons 20-6.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Dolphins crushed the Broncos. I mean, beat them like they stole something. 70-20. Browns beat the Titans 27-3. Bills whooped on the Commanders 37-3. I mean, should have been a bye week the way we were playing, honestly. Texans crushed the Jaguars 37-17. I think everybody had this as upset of the week. Cardinals beat the Cowboys 28-16. I definitely did not see that coming. Chiefs crushed the Bears 41-10. I think the Bears probably might be the worst team in this league or top 3 worst teams in the league. Their
Correct.
defensive coordinator, he also resigned. They said he was some inappropriate activity going on. We'll keep you updated once we get more news on that. But yeah, Alan Williams, their defensive coordinator, resigned earlier this week. Seahawks beat the Panthers 37-27. And the Steelers beat the Raiders Sunday Night Football 23-18. Brandon, what of these games had you just in awe? And like just overall, what did you think of the rest of these games?
I was high on the Texans going into this season. I did not see them going down into Jacksonville and winning that game there. Um, at the end of the day, I wasn't surprised just based off my initial thoughts of them heading into the year, but I definitely didn't think that they was going to go into Jacksonville and win on Sunday. You mentioned the Bears; they're in another team in for a long season. Yes,
Mm.
I feel sorry for them fans there in Chicago. Ain't nothing working right. Um, the another one, the Cardinals and Cowboys game. It started
Right.
off bad for the Cowboys early on, and it kind of just looked like that was going to be one of those games where they weren't going to win it, where they was going to spoil it and lose to a team that they should have beat, but a team that kind of played decent in the first 2 weeks, despite
They've been
going 0
playing
and 2.
better and better each week, the
Yeah,
Cardinals. I can't even lie.
Romeo. The quarterback, Joshua
Josh
Dobbs.
Dobbs. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Again, he's improved as well. So yeah, very valid point there. But of course, everybody had their eye on that Dolphins Broncos game.
My
Uh,
God.
I swear it seemed like I was watching NFL Network on Sunday because I didn't have access to the Ravens game on CBS. So every time I turn around, they was the little flasher came up at the bottom of the ticker. It says score alert, right? And I swear it seemed like every time I looked up after it said score alert, it said a Dolphins touchdown. I mean, they put up 10 touchdowns on Sunday, 350 plus yards in the air, 350 plus yards on the ground. Again, I don't know if it was week 2 or week 1 where they really beat up on somebody. And I was like, this helps take some of that pain away from last year when they came back from 28 down, I think, against us heading into the second half, fourth quarter, something like that. Um, yeah, I think, and what made it even better, obviously, is social media now that there's so many memes and stuff. They had a picture of, I'm sure you saw it, of uh, Mike McDaniel
In
in
the
the
stands.
stands talking
Yeah.
about something. They
Yeah,
beat up
that
on
was
him
funny.
so bad he was letting the fans, and it was another one out there too. But yeah, I mean, the Broncos, man, we know Sean Payton's a offensive guy, but like on First Take, I think it was Shannon Sharp, no, Ryan Clark mentioned that you got Vance Joseph as your defensive coordinator. It might have been Stephen A. Smith. Either one of them said the fact that you got an offensive mind head coach, one of the best offensive minds to ever coach in Sean Payton, and a defensive mind and Vance Joseph, one of the better defensive coordinators over the past several years as well, and they got beat the hell up like that. But to the Broncos' defense, the Dolphins are on a different level for sure. So yeah, which of these games caught your attention?
Of course, the Bills Commanders game. I watched that mostly through the entirety. They had a shot. You know how they do? They show shots of fans in the crowd. They had this one black lady just had her head in her hands like this, just, and I was like, "Yup, I know exactly how you feel, man. I know exactly how you feel." 9 sacks. Sam Howell got sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
4 interceptions. Antonio Gibson fumbled again. I just it was a long day. I was watching scary movies this weekend, and it felt like a nightmare watching that damn game. Be honest with you, just ugly, ugly. We got the Eagles next week, and honestly, I don't know. Hopefully, Sam Howell and company offensive line crew they watch this tape, know what they need to correct and improve on it because I was just very bad. I'm basically it's looking like Sam Howell's rookie year. I mean, he only had one start last year. I know he's been on the team, but he's getting the reps and starts now. It just seems like he's
Mm-hmm.
a rookie right now. Not
Yeah.
all of those sacks are on the O line. Some of the one Andrew Wiley, one play. I just remember Leonard Floyd just blew right past him. I was like, man, that's the dude we just signed. I mean, Leonard Floyd just blew right past him and got that sack. I was like, oh, just one of those type of days. But yeah, I'll talk about that a little later. Browns over the Titans. They were talking about Deshaun. Oh, we gave him all this money, 250 guaranteed million, blah, 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 blah. We haven't seen nothing yet. It looks like he's finally starting to get on track. He had himself a good game against the Titans. Amari Cooper had himself a good day. So the Browns, y'all better watch out for them. I think they'll be around. That defense will usually keep them in games. And if Deshaun can play like how he used to play when he was like a top 5, top 10 quarterback, in my opinion, in the league a few years ago, they can definitely make some noise. Of course, the Dolphins beating the Broncos. I mean, 35, it was 35 zip at halftime, and they were like, they're on pace to score 70. But, when people say it, you really don't think they're going to score 70. And they could have broke the record, which surprisingly enough, Washington had the record. We had 72 points back in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
They could have, they could have kicked the field goal and broke the record, but Mike McDaniel was like, karma, just take the knee, run a ball. I think I would have kicked the field goal. I would have said, fuck them.
Yeah.
Kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Let's get them out of there. Because I was reading some articles before the game, and it seems like there's a little bit of history between the Broncos, Sean Payton, and Mike McDaniels. I don't think Mike McDaniels got an interview because I think he wanted to be a head coach for the Broncos, but you see how that played out. Chiefs and Bears. Justin Fields, man. We talk about hot seats for the coaches, but hot seat for the quarterback too. Justin Fields, man. I thought this would be a leap year for you. I thought you would come out being better, improved, but they got you on camp. They got you on film looking crazy, man. Looking crazy, man. I don't know what you're seeing out there. Maybe you're seeing ghosts too, but it's looking funny in the light for you, Justin Fields. I don't know, man. I was watching Red Zone, so they showed pretty much all the games, but definitely the Texans Jaguars game. I was really surprised by that. I thought, Calvin Ridley would come in and make this offense super explosive, but it just wasn't that day on Sunday. I know this is a divisional matchup, so, the Texans, they're well acquainted with the Jaguars, so maybe that has something to do with them winning as well. But CJ Stroud, he's looking really good. His first win, but he's throwing the ball consistent. He's putting up good numbers. I think it's safe to say the Texans probably got their quarterback of the future, at least for a little while. Then let's see. Talked about the Chiefs, Bears, Cardinals, Cowboys. We might have found their weakness, Cowboys, your run game, your run defense, I mean, because
for sure.
What's my guy's name? James Conner.
Arizona got loose.
Over 100
James
yards
Conner,
rushing. Over
I've been
100 yards
calling on
rushing. I think Dobbs was able to get some good runs in as well. So Cowboys, forgot who they got next, but that run defense, we'll see. I know Trevon Diggs is a huge loss. Maryland guy, sucks to see him blow his knee out and everything. So, good luck to him in his recovery as well. And then the Lions, I want to revise my prediction or my pick for the NFC North. I got the Lions winning the North right now over the Packers.
Okay.
That's who I got. But there's still 2 games on. There's a game on right now, and there's another game coming on about 20 minutes from now. We got the Bucks and the Eagles and the Rams and the Bengals. I want to start with the Bucks Eagles game. My heart saying pick the Bucks, but I can't. I want the Bucks to win, but I think the Eagles should win. I think the Eagles defense is going to overrun Baker Mayfield. But we talk about this off air. Me and my Monday night picks, it's always the opposite. So I probably just put this in the air and the Bucks will win, but I think the Eagles are going to win. The Rams-Bengals game, I'm honestly leaning to the Rams. I don't know. I feel like they got a psychological advantage over them just because they beat them in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, I'm sure the Bengals will want to get some get back and win this game. But I'm gonna still go with the Rams. What about you? How you feeling these games going to play out?
Honestly, completely forgot about that storyline with Rams Bengals at the Super Bowl because the Rams have been atrocious since the Super Bowl. So I completely forgot about that. I picked the Rams in that one in the late game. I wasn't sure about the health of Joey B. Looked like he's going to play, but whether he'll be 100% or not, of course, is to be determined. The Bengals, I think they said they've started 0-2. I want to say every year under, of course, I'm calling the blank. Zach Zach Taylor.
Yeah, it was like the
Under
last 5
him,
seasons. I saw that too.
except
Yeah, I
for
saw
one
that.
season. Yeah. So this is usually the game where they get right, week 3.
Right.
Um, but of course, again, I picked the Rams. I think that rookie receiver is a game changer for them. Matthew Stafford is still that guy. Um, so we'll see how that goes. And then the Eagles and Bucks, like you said, I think that Eagles defense will create some problems for Bake and company. I still know Mike Evans is going, do his thing. Chris Godwin and all them guys out there. And those linebackers there for the Bucks are really good. So they definitely had a coming out party last week. The entire defense there, and I did go with the Eagles, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks pull this one off. But I think I'm gonna stick with my pick with the Eagles. So, excuse me, real quick. Did you see the on Facebook somebody had shared, and then one of my other friends shared it. Somebody just wrote, it was like, I know the Redskins when I see it. Talking about y'all's game.
I probably would have blocked him if I saw it. I didn't see it yet. I didn't see it. I'm sure I will. I'm sure, Oh God.
But to
Did you
y'all's
see
defense, I mean, good team though.
did you see Colorado get a whoop? It was a bad
Oh
weekend for
man,
Colorado
yeah,
football, just in general.
yep,
Colorado went up to Oregon and
yeah,
they got a mud hole stomped into them. I think the score was
yeah,
42-6. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't stop the run. Shador
hmm
Sanders couldn't get anything going. That their O line and their D line is one of their main weaknesses. And once they start playing these schools with the real big boys, it's gonna get exposed even more and more. So, and
yep.
they're out of the AP 25 or top 25
Okay,
rankings too after that
gotcha.
loss. So I'll be watching them against USC. We'll talk about it more Friday, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna
Caleb.
be a tough stretch without Travis Hunter. Even though I doubt he would have been able to. Maybe he would have got them to score
For
a
sure.
touchdown or stopped
Yep,
a play or two, but I don't think he could have did anything to stop that loss from happening for
correct.
sure. Yeah, and hopefully, my Commanders and your Ravens, we can. I think your Ravens, if anything, will be fine. My Commanders, though, we'll see. But yeah, everyone, that is another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.